There's something uniquely eerie about abandoned places, especially abandoned homes, which were at one point a family's most private and personal space. But you know what's creepiest of all? Deserted mansions. Though they used to be worth millions and represent grandeur and wealth, the homes presented here now lie empty in disrepair. And I'd bet my nightlight that most of these still have plenty of ghostly inhabitants lurking around, even if there aren't any mortal occupants roaming the grand halls anymore. If you're new to our channel, do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for instant updates. Now, let us begin. Number 10. Granot Loma. Have you ever dreamed of living in a secluded fairy tale cabin in the middle of the woods? What about one that is 26,000 square feet and has a 3,000-gallon hot tub, an apple orchard? Welcome to Granot Loma. It's basically a woodsy version of Versailles, located along Lake Superior in Michigan. This is the biggest log cabin in the U.S., sitting on 5,000 acres of woodland covered in trees. It spans around 26,000 square feet and has 23 bedrooms, 4 apartment buildings and an outbuilding, a huge hot tub, and a private backwater marina to pair with it. Registered on the National Register of Historic Places and built by the co-founder of General Motors, this mansion went on sale for $40 million and has no buyers even after the price was reduced by 50%. The place is full of paintings and artifacts, which are not necessarily priceless, but at least the house is furnished. Given its remoteness and an age of the building, there are not many takers for the old-fashioned log cabin. Number 9. The New Jersey Watcher Home. No, this isn't where Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer lives, though the house in question does have a spooky history. The ancient house in New Jersey has 6 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4 fireplaces that were bought for $1.5 million in the past decade. A family in New Jersey bought the new home, and it should have been a happy time. Despite renovating it, the buyers never moved in, owing to threatening letters which gave the house its nickname. An anonymous person sent multiple letters to the house claiming to be the house's watcher, as his ancestors who were hired as caretakers in the 20s and 60s. The letter said the following: "My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched it in the 1960s. It's now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested?" Similarly disturbing letters just kept coming 6 months after buying the house. They were rather understandably too scared to move in, so they decided to try and sell it, but the legend of the Watcher had spread like wildfire. Nobody would bite, and the asking price of the mansion just kept getting lower and lower. Number 8. The $10 Mansion. The historic New Jersey home costs some measly $10, and that's no joke. This generous and huge mansion will set you back less than the average cinema ticket. Coming in at 4,000 square feet in size, with 6 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, it's not short of the bargain of the century. However, there is a catch. Not only do you have to move into it, but you also have to move it. That's right. If you want to buy this house, you have to move it. This one's gonna take some explaining, isn't it? Well, here we go. The home was designed by famous architect Dudley Van Antwerp, and any of his work at any price would be a steal for anyone looking to invest in property. But with this particular house, there's an intriguing issue. The town's planning board provided a subdivision for the land the home is on. In layman's terms, as a condition of owning the home, you must literally pick up the house and move it to a new location. According to town officials, responsibility for the movement of the home would fall onto the buyer. While $10 for a mansion may seem remarkably cheap, there's a whole lot of other issues to take into consideration. Firstly, unless you've got the strength of the Hulk, you're gonna have to pay movers to move the house for you. Secondly, you're gonna have to own the land you're moving it to. And if you don't own the land, that means buying land, and land is not cheap. Number 7. Montclair House at 44 Pleasant Avenue, Montclair. An eye-catching 6-bedroom, 3,900 square foot house in New Jersey is located on 3 acres of land and is more than 100 years old and preserved by the Historic Preservation Commission given its historic significance. And it's on the market for just $10, not including the land. The land has been commissioned for the site of 8 more houses to be built around the historic house. Thus, the buyer of this $10 mansion will have to agree to move the house at their own expense. including the much-needed renovations. All that along with preserving the historic element inside the house, but removing the toxic lead paint and asbestos by law. No wonder no one wants to inherit this mess on purpose. Number 6. The home of Conrad Aiken. Conrad Aiken was an American writer whose work included short stories, novels, a play, and perhaps most notably, lauded poems. However, his personal life comes with a dark history. Conrad's father was far from emotionally stable and became notorious for his violent behavior. Conrad's father finally lost all control. Young Aiken sat in bed, listening to his parents argue through the walls. But suddenly, there was the bang of a gunshot, swiftly followed by another. Conrad raced into his parents' bedroom to find his father had murdered his wife, and then himself leaving Conrad an orphan in the process. Ever since then, the beautiful house they lived in remained empty no matter how low the price has dropped. Number 5. The Schweppes Mansion. The Schweppes Mansion is one of the most beautiful mansions you will ever see. Almost anyone would consider it, at least from an aesthetic standpoint. The absolute dream home. It is everything a buyer could dream of in a lavish home. Spectacular views of Lake Michigan, detailed old-world architecture, hardwood floors, a ballroom, a library, an elevator, and 9 fireplaces. The palace-like mansion is spread over 21,000 square feet and boasts 12 bedrooms, 11 baths, and 400-foot-long beach, and has hosted several royals and nobles, including the Duke of Windsor in its 100-year-old existence. It's generally considered one of the most haunted buildings in America. Located on Mayflower Road in Lake Forest, it was given as a gift to Laura and Charles Schweppes of the Schweppes Soda Company as a wedding present from former Marshall Field Chairman John G. Shedd, Laura's father. It was designed by the architect Frederick Wainwright Perkins, but eventually tragedy would strike in 1937. Laura passed away of natural causes in the home not long after, and in 1941, Charles committed suicide in the mansion, leaving a note that simply said, "I've been awake all night." It's terrible stories that Schweppes still haunts the halls of the mansions have gripped the imaginations of the locals with such intensity that no matter how much the price gets dropped, nobody will buy the mansion. At present, it's at $9.45 million, which is a significant drop from its initial asking price of $18 million, but it just keeps dropping. Number 4. The Priestley House. Built by Dr. James Priestley in 1852, the house is built in Georgian style and has several amenities including and not limited to a parlor, a music room, a library, swimming pool, office, terrace, and a separate greenhouse. The home is for sale for $938,000 and has a music room, a study, a butler's pantry, screened-in porches, hardwood floors, and several fireplaces. But none of that matters when potential buyers are convinced a murderous ghost will be their new roommate. The home has been the subject of ghost stories for decades. Former owners and even the descendants of Dr. Priestley have claimed to have seen ghost activities around the house, including terrifying voices and things moving about the room. The resident phantoms include a heartbroken young woman waiting for her sweetheart to return from seeking his fortune. Her sweetheart haunts the road leading up to the mansion, where he died when he was thrown from his horse as he tried to return to her. The home is also rumored to have been built on Native American burial grounds, upping the property's fear factor. The house, with all its amenities, looks like a total package for anyone willing to buy it, which there have been none. Number 3. S.K. Pierce Mansion, Gardner, Massachusetts. In 1875, the renowned chair manufacturer Sylvester K. Price decided to try something a bit different with his creative output. He designed and built a house. It's a beautiful 10-bedroom mansion, which, considering the size and era of construction, should be worth a lot. It's got 6,661 square feet of living space, and it should be a dream home for many. It's situated in Gardner, Massachusetts, which is renowned for its low crime rate. Well, there's pretty much a major catch. A catch you've been hearing about a lot on this list. Since its construction, the house has harbored darkness, with 7 murders taking place within its walls, including the strangulation of a sex worker. There have been countless unexplained activities around the house, including things being moved, inhuman sounds, and sightings of servants walking around. The house has even been featured on many paranormal activity shows, whose teams encountered many of these activities during their stay. The price keeps being slashed and slashed over and over, but still, there are no takers. The history is simply too heavy. Officially considered one of the most haunted places in the world, this huge home is currently only $329,000, the price of an average 3-bedroom home. Number 2. The Starrett Mansion. This mansion was built in 1889 by contractor George Starrett as a gift for his wife. It's been a bed and breakfast and a boutique hotel, but is now being sold as a home. However, just like the last few entries on our list, ghost stories have tarnished the reputation of this potential dream home. It's turned into a boutique hotel, but is eventually shut down since no one wants to visit or even buy it. The Starrett couple and some of their employees reportedly still haunt the mansion, roaming about the halls with unexplained noises at night. Guest reviews mention wardrobes opening on their own and the sound of footsteps on the floorboards. Other rumored paranormal activity includes the appearance of a welcoming red-headed woman and an apparition called the Nanny, who appear in a mirror on the second room floor. She lives up the stairs and occasionally interacts with guests. With 11 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a spiral staircase, and hardwood floors, it's an absolute steal at $850,000. But as long as nobody will buy it thanks to the ghost, it'll just keep dropping in value. And at number 1, Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Michael Jackson left behind a rather tricky legacy. It should go without saying that it's hard to get anyone to buy his old home. Once listed at $100 million, it's now down to just $31 million. There are 5 bedrooms in the main house, but that's just one of 22 structures spread across the 2,700-acre estate. The rest includes a 50-seat movie theater, a fire station, railway station, and railway track train. Not included the lagoon-style swimming pool, outhouses, and tennis courts. However, the legacy is too tainted for any potential buyers to put up the cash. If this video spooked you, give us a like and let us know which of these places your curious and brave souls are gonna visit and book rooms in. You have a good day.